king or a peasant, become a legend.
With the choice to leave life be, he gazed at the pinnacle, knowing the journey ahead contains many intervals. Success comes with a price, not on a platter, doesn't matter. He's like antimatter, he never shatters, no. Clearly clever, watch him put in the effort. He's gifted with the music, you doubt him, he'll prove it. Manhandling demons in search for his meaning. It was either keep dreaming, a scheme for a completion using God power on God's hour. Devour challenges, challengers know him well, that's why they don't challenge him. It was prayer, focus, consistency that made 24 carats from a pile of misery. Now he's gonna master his craft, not for history, but in hopes his audience gets hit with an epiphany. Every word critical, every verse pivotal, cause most rappers and music libraries are fictional.
Become a legend. You define whether you're a king or a peasant.
Then he dies before he doesn't become a legend.
Life is a gift, open up the present. I don't know about you, but I won't waste a second. You define whether you're a king or a peasant.
Then he dies before he doesn't become a legend. Yeah, he's loyal. Yeah, he's honest. He understands the value of a promise. Now he's been lied to, and he knows how it feels. Been at the bottom, feeling bluer than the boys he feels. He never had that father figure, that role model. That's why he turned to Jesus instead of a bottle. He watched his family destroy itself with alcohol, but had the focus going like a Nikon on an Adderall. He saw it to the end, forced light into the tunnel, and through the caverns, he was taught to be humble. Using light within, yeah, without a lantern. Never would have made it without Kramer and Tanner. That's his family. This includes Cody and Parker J. The same people stand with him to this very day. Together for the better, they always keep marching, and you can't stop his squad like they run the read option.
Become a legend. You define whether you're a king or a peasant.
Then he dies before he doesn't become a legend.
Life is a gift, open up the present. I don't know about you, but I won't waste a second. You define whether you're a king or a peasant.
Then he dies before he doesn't become a legend. So now you understand the kid's been through it all. Guess the name, Benny guessed he'll be the last one to fall. God had it coming, it was written on the wall. Should've named him Spalding, all he does is ball. He's blessed, he thanks God. These 3 verses on point. Chris Paul, he loves, he makes it worth it. Far from perfect, but still makes haters forfeit. Clark Kent's made of steel, Benny made of titanium. Head bumping tracks, boy cracking cranium. Prepare a stadium, his flow is radiant. If there's no road ahead, damn it, he's paving them. Time's against us all, he ain't never complacent. A runaway train until heaven is a station. Forget runner up, it's unstoppable momentum. Benny dies before he doesn't become a legend.
Become a legend. You define whether you're a king or a peasant.
Then he dies before he doesn't become a legend.
Life is a gift, open up the present. I don't know about you, but I won't waste a second. You define whether you're a king or a peasant.
Then he dies before he doesn't become a legend.
Yo. Welcome to the world-renowned podcast. I am your host, Flayo. Once again, we have a special guest in the building. I got my man, Benny Guest, coming all the way from Cookville, but he is a Satellite Beach, Florida native. What's good, bro?
How's it going, man?
It's all gravy, man. Thanks for coming to the show.
Good. Thank you guys for having me.
It's all good, man. Benny just gonna tell us his perspective, his point of view of life from his journey, which that's basically what this podcast is all about. Everybody has a voice here. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, man. Well, again, first, thank you guys for having me on and being able to share my story.
Anytime.
So yeah, I've got this story, and that's taken me across a few cities and many interesting experiences where I've met many different people and really been able to experience life. It kind of all starts my childhood. I had a pretty good childhood till about age 13, and things took a turn for the worse. My parents got into alcohol and drug addictions and things like that, and it was an experience that taught me so many things that I've used in all the chapters of my life. You know, lots of depression, lots of anxiety, um, but yeah, depression taught me how to envision things. You know, being so depressed and not enjoying or wanting to accept the reality around you. So you kind of go into your own dream world, and I learned how to envision things that way. It's like a running movie theater in my head of everything I want and all these things that excite me day in and day out. So, um, but but yeah, so it starts there, and um, you know, parents kind of went through crises of their own, and I spent a lot of time. I'm the oldest of three brothers. I have two younger brothers,
Okay.
Nicholas and Matthew, and I spent my childhood, or I should say, my teenage years specifically, focusing on them. And what this did was, it took away from my own personal growth. It took away from paying attention in school, middle school, high school.
So you had to grow up fast, I'm assuming.
Things happened quick. You know, I grew up fast in some areas, and then I think it stunted my growth in other areas. Just because, I mean, emotional, you know, or traumatic times, the ups and the downs, you know. So yeah, so I go through these things. That's about ages 13 through 18, 19, and you know, I was able to play. I was a football athlete in high school,
Okay.
and I only played one full season. That was my senior year, and my first big dream that I had was to play football. That was it, you know. And any high school athlete will tell you, you know, there's some out there that know they're not going to the league, but you know, you're going Division 1, and then you're going to the league after that.
So football is your first big dream?
Yes, it is. Yeah, football is my first big dream. I swore that I was going to grow up and play for the Philadelphia Eagles. I love them so much, and so you know, having depression and anxiety in these things piled on me at this age, and I mean, there was no way at the time I knew how to, or knew that I should have worked my way out of these things that you know, what's the word, I guess, weighed on me internally.
How does that affect you socially coming up in middle school and high school and things like that?
Oh man, it socially awkward. Yeah,
I bet.
You know, well, I can recall being so kind of in my own world that you know, one-on-one conversation like this, I wouldn't pick up on like social cues or really just know how to be normal in conversation. That was one big thing, and I mean, total lack of self-confidence.
Mm.
You know, and yes, I mean, socially awkward. That sums it up.
Yeah, I bet. Playing football, football has a lot of diversity. How is it? How do you handle the diversity when you was in the locker room in your football days?
Well, that really kicked in when I make it to college. I the first stop I had, I guess it was kind of college football. It was a prep school that made false promises, and it didn't turn out well. But we were in a locker room full of guys from all over the country, and buddies that I have, like Joey and Shock and Red, Malik. I mean, just Zombie, and so many buddies from all over the world, and you know, you all get together, and fortunately, you have this thing in football that's a common goal. That's to win a game. You know, you all enjoy this, especially offensive linemen. You enjoy, you know, dominating the line of scrimmage. So I was fortunate enough at a young age to have football as this common goal that brought a bunch of diverse people together.
Okay.
And that was my first experience with that, and definitely some learning. You know, different social backgrounds. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
different types of music. We listen to different types of music. You know, I mean, for goodness sakes, we would go for hours on who's the better hip hop artist. You know, is it Jay-Z? Is it Nas? Is it Biggie? You know, so. But then I get to Georgia Military, and the prep school thing doesn't work out. I end up being on ESPN Outside the Lines for that. That prep school no longer exists.
Wow.
Fortunately, it was robbing people. It was
So they were actually on ESPN for a segment.
Yeah, and actually, Antonio Brown, the pro receiver, was a part of that because they would use him as like a poster child and advertise that they got him to Central Michigan, and when really he just got his I think it was either an ACT or SAT score.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and then Central Michigan just took him on. The prep school I was a part of didn't do shit for him, but yeah. So and then my second stop in college football was Georgia Military Junior College, which is an extremely strong football program. Plenty of pro athletes that come out of there. And kind of touching back on the childhood thing, my mind was just not mentally developed, I think, or ready for college football. And that was kind of the first psychological hiccup that I feel like affected an outcome in a chapter of my life. And
there's too much shit going on mentally, basically, right?
Yeah. And man, don't get me wrong. There are some, I played against and practiced against some grown ass men. I mean, there's a couple of them that are still in the league right now, and I follow their careers. One's doing extremely successful and has a Super Bowl ring. So it's really cool to,
oh shit.
Yeah. It's cool to see him doing his thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
got a homie in the league.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily a homie, I guess, but
yeah, it's your college buddy.
Yeah.
That's your dog. Y'all remember each other.
Yeah.
So your video was playing before the show. Legend. How'd you get into the rap game?
Man, so things happened really quick between college football and music. A very, very difficult time for everybody in my family. My family loses my grandmother on my mom's side, who was, a big part of the foundation.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. A big part of the foundation and a strong woman. Actually, she's the person who taught me how to envision. So the family loses her, and going through a tough financial time. My mother loses her house and ends up moving in with my grandfather. And around the same time, this gentleman named Nick Bennick, who this guy changes my life.
Director of the video.
Yeah, the director of the video.
Shout him out.
Yeah, big time. And he produced all the music and developed me as an artist. So he moves in next door into this business center next to my grandpa's place. And, at the time I'm up at Georgia Military Junior College in my final days, and I experienced a couple concussions. I expressed my desire to come home and hang the cleats up, as they say. So my mom goes over and talks to Nick, and she's like, hey, I'm telling my family I'm going to do music. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have no fucking clue what I'm going to do. I'm just like, yeah, I know I can write. This is what I want to pursue and stuff like that. And
you let them know you got some kind of direction. Something going on, y'all.
Yeah, you want them to have some confidence in you in the decisions you're going to make. So he checks out my Facebook videos, these little freestyle raps that everybody used to watch on my Facebook page, and he's like, dang, this is something I can work with, and I don't know if he knows this or not, but and I'm 19 years old at the time, and I had a tax return that year. I think it was about $400, and that was right on the line, 400 exactly, pretty much, maybe like 461 cents. And
that was your investment money?
Well, I didn't know it yet, but this guy, and again, I'm young, and and Nick at this point, he's built his studio and he's in business, and he asks me and he goes, "Hey, you want to make a song together?" And I say, "Yeah." And so we get in the studio together, and we make this song called Dreams. He produced the beat. We took this sample from like a 1930s, just a song way back, man. That, just kind of like I don't know, some stuff that Kanye West would go way back and pull from.
I hear you.
I love, and like the producer Just Blaze, some of the old samples he uses, man. So it was, I told him, I was like, that's really cool. I like that stuff. Let's go with that. So he finds this sample and he makes this beat and we write this song. And, we're talking and he's like, it'll cost you. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, realistically, what's it going to be? And he produces so phenomenally. And for people who aren't educated on like the prices of music and stuff like that, what he charged me was so reasonable for the product that he produces. It was $400. Exactly. So there, I'm like, yeah, I got that. I got my tax return. So, I was real proud of it. I was, happy to do that. And so I post a song on YouTube and, I'm kind of in touch with him over the next few days and we're discussing, we're like, dude, this shit's getting like thousands of views and it's getting traction and
getting love.
Yeah. So, at the time he had an investor, create a studio and a small record label, and we wanted to ride this small wave. So now, all of a sudden, I'm offered kind of like a record deal, an EP deal, and they say, okay, let's do what we can with what's with the trend that's or the wave that's happened, and all of a sudden, music is thrusted upon me. I think I don't know if I was ready for it. Back in that moment, I don't know if that was really what I wanted to do. I was just saying it.
That's how you get to Atlanta.
So we make this EP and I lost all my football weight, so I'm a sharper looking guy, gaining the attention around locally and perform a couple shows, pack out the Sports Page bar. It used to be the Sports Page bar, and shout out to Paige and Ashley for those opportunities to rock their bar. We bring out a lot of people from 4 years before and after I graduated high school. And Nick, the producer, looks at me and he's like, dude, you should probably leave. You should probably go, and at this point I'm like 20. So, and I mean, realistically, it's like, where are you going to go? Do you want to go to New York? Do you want to go to LA? And we're like, why would we do that? We've got Atlanta right here in the Southeast, and it's big time. You've got major artists, T.I. and Future, monster artists,
hip hop mecca.
Yeah, Future was blowing up to at the time. So a lot of as me as a 20-year-old, now I'm a hip hop artist. I'm like, yeah, this is where we're gonna go. And this is where I think my eyes started to open to the rest of the world. Or, well, I shouldn't say that. I should say to just another city in the United States, because there's still cities that out there and here that I have no idea what they're like. But I moved to downtown Atlanta on North Avenue, right next to Ponce City Market. Actually, it was getting developed at the time, and I take on a car wash job to make ends meet, and this is where, this is where I look around and I'm like, damn, like, okay, this is a different world. This is a whole different monster. This is not Satellite Beach, Florida. This is hot Atlanta.
Definitely not Satellite Beach.
Dude, we're talking 6-lane highways, right. Spaghetti Junction. What you could walk to in 30 minutes there, if you were in traffic, it would take you 2 hours. Like, no joke. That's not an exaggeration.
High crime rate.
Yeah, crazy, man. They're not joking when they say concrete jungle.
Yeah.
So I'm at this car wash, and for the first time, and this is one of the greatest experiences that, I'll carry this for the rest of my life. It's made me a better man. For the first time in my life, I was the minority in an environment. So I was the single white guy around a bunch of black guys, right? Super interesting. This taught me so much about people. It started my growth in the direction of learning and understanding other cultures and understanding different feelings, different walks of life, different stories. And, you know, there was a challenge initially because, okay, you're the white guy, right?
Yeah.
Never any disrespect, never.
It's a little, did you feel it was like a little trust barrier, wall right there, maybe in the beginning?
I think that's a good way to put it. You know, yeah. Are you someone that, you know, we can kick it with and trust, you know, and, you know, are you not racist?
Yeah, right.
Right. You know?
Right.
So, you know, I did, I carried myself well and I treated everybody with respect. And, I was very fortunate and grateful to have earned the friendship of just about everybody on that lot. There was probably 30, 40 guys that I saw consistently out on that lot. And I mean, to the point where I visited the lot where some of them still are. And I took my brother Nick to check it out. And I walked on the lot, man, and I said what's up to them all over again. And it was all love. And these guys, you know, it was a phenomenal experience. And so I'm working at this car wash and I get to know some of these guys. And one story that really sticks out, and shout out to all those guys, you know, Bernard, Q, Trap, Johnny, Greg, you know,
all my rounds in the A.
Yeah, man. I mean, these guys, you know, and I mean, really, they were like my brothers out there. There were times when customers would get in my face and they would come to my back. It was a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah.
So okay. And I'm learning
so
about
you established.
These were my guys.
You broke the trust wall.
Oh, these were my guys, right. Man. And I was their guy. I was. So I'm learning about these guys, and they're, you know, we'd have breaks on the side when it was slower or when we could get a lunch break. We wouldn't get a lunch break. It was very rare, you know. I'm not too educated on the Georgia labor laws, but it was brutal, 12 hours straight sometimes. And I didn't like that. I thought that was wrong. But we were pressed with it.
So you're not too familiar with the Georgia labor laws, but you know they ain't supposed to be working your ass like no motherfucking slave.
Man, I tell you what, man, I think they're allowed to. At the time, I think they were allowed to. Maybe they weren't, maybe they were not. You know, me being 20, I didn't think to Google it. I was focused on my path, and maybe in hindsight, maybe I should have maybe tried to do more about it, but maybe I wasn't grown yet. But yeah, man, I mean, working us to death.
Are you still pursuing your rap career this time?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
No. Let me get to that in a second. I want to. I would learn these stories, and one story that stuck out to me was one of the guys that I worked with, and he talked to me about, you know, real formal, punctual guy. Grew up in a horrific, you know, household, horrific. And his greatest source of income was selling drugs. That's what it was. He was selling drugs. And he told me, he would say, Ben, man, he's like, some people just don't understand. It's the best thing I've got. I was raised on the streets. Okay. Not a lot of example for, you know, what college might be able to do for his life. Not a lot of strong male examples, men in his life.
Doing what he has to do.
Exactly. Making ends meet. And he had a daughter, and I'll never forget it, man. I had so much sympathy for the guy. And he said, he's like, my daughter knows nothing about this, but I do, because, and he would say, he's like, I get her presents for her birthday, you know, for Christmas. And Fireworks on New Year's. He's like, I do everything I can for my daughter.
Mm.
And that's pretty much that story. Just that's what I learned at this car wash lot, was that I have this story where, okay, my parents were in drugs and alcohol, and it was really tough, and it screwed me up psychologically. And I'm still, to this day, I'm working on stuff. But I take a look over at this guy and I'm like, damn, my shit's not even close. I can't even imagine. And, I grew up in Satellite Beach, so I was never going to walk around a corner and be in danger. Satellite Beach is a very peaceful town. The greatest crime you might see is somebody borrows your bike for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Really, that and so that's what I know. And
or even having to sell drugs to bring presents to your daughter.
Yeah, and because the car wash was not going to promote him. Hell, the car wash was a side gig.
Mm.
You know?
I know what you're saying.
So this opens up my mind and my heart to individuals who are different from me. And I think it's like a quote by Plato. It's like, I've seen enough to know I don't know enough, or I don't know anything.
And maybe my life isn't so bad after all.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so that was a huge growth period for me. It was like, I feel like it was like cramming for an exam the whole time, just because I was taking in so much every single day. But it made me a better man. And but also in Atlanta, so I'm doing the hip hop. There was a gentleman named Cedric who gave me like a part-time job working his business, and I want to shout out to him. Said thank you so much.
Shout out Cedric.
Yeah, man, he good guy and looked out for me and wanted to help me. I was just looking back, I was too young. I was not ready for
Atlanta hip hop scene.
Atlanta in general.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But some hip hop, so a cool hip hop story. I go to, I perform my first show outside of Satellite Beach, and I walk into this place called Apache Cafe. It's on 3rd Avenue in Atlanta, and another situation where I'm the only white guy, right?
Oh shit.
So yeah, and let me be honest, you walk in and you do feel some discomfort, but I think the only I feel is that, I just want everybody to know, hey, I'm here to perform music. There is sure the skin tone might be different, but we're all here for music.
Okay.
And I'm here to perform, and I'm here to encourage everybody that goes up on stage with me tonight. It was an open mic.
Okay.
That's what it was. And so, man,
get the same love as you got in the satellite performance. You get that same type of love.
Yeah. Well, afterwards, before, they're I'm not, and they're looking like, okay, who's this guy?
Who's the white boy?
Hey, there you go. That's who's the white guy that's gonna come up on stage? But I kind of had this performance of mine developed for a song that I wrote called "Take You Back," and it's I'm gonna take you back, like back, like Chris Berman back, like Home Run Derby back. And I basically teach the crowd, hey, you're responsible for the like back part.
Okay.
And I was just always really clear about it, and I guess it made sense to the crowd. And they're like, okay, we can rock with this. And the first verse, I remember getting on stage, and man, a lot of the times I was using all my energy just holding it together. When you're on stage in front of, there was probably between 150 and 200 people in this place.
Okay.
And the first time the hook comes around, I cue them, and they're like back. So, okay, so they're feeling it now. So I got them. And as soon as I felt that energy come back to me, I was the second verse locked in, and I just wrote it out the rest of the way. And man, the crowd was roaring, and, it was a success for me. I was super happy. And the coolest part of this story is I earned the nickname Kevin Love.
There you go.
And for those of you who don't know who Kevin Love is, I think he's the only white guy on
Cleveland.
the Cleveland Cavaliers.
He's not, but he's the most famous.
Yeah, when LeBron when LeBron took the Cavs to the promised land.
Yeah.
Kevin Love was the only white guy on the team. So
Benny guesses the name, and from now on, your rap name on the world-renowned podcast will be Kevin Love in the building, baby.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. From downtown.
That's what's up.
But yeah, so I spent 8 months in Atlanta, and I grew tremendously. It opened my eyes up to so many things. But ultimately it chewed me up and it spit me out. I was working 60 hours a week at the car wash, and I was doing part-time for Cedric, and it was taking a toll on my body. It was taking a toll on my mind, and that credit to the artists that continue to sacrifice and continue to pursue what they love.
For sure.
Shout out to those,
sure.
all of them, because there's a lot of them that love the arts. But I hold those stories close, those lessons, and Atlanta overall was probably the greatest experience of stepping out from Satellite Beach. And but so I come back. I'm finished. I finish up with Atlanta. I spend the 8 months there, and I come back here to Satellite Beach, and I join a grocery company. And I know on the podcast, careful with names and things like that, but I have nothing but praise for the grocery company, Publix.
Okay.
I do. And I want to give them a shout out. A huge, huge, huge shout out to my guy, Dave.
Shout out, Dave.
Dave brought me on board. He gave me every opportunity in the world at the company, and not getting too far ahead, but ultimately it's how I end up in Tennessee. But yeah, and to Allie and to Melissa and both Big and Little Travis, shout out to those guys who groomed me and helped me, work for Publix when I worked for Publix.
So they groom you, they help you, you get to Tennessee, and you're not in retail anymore. Yeah,
so the retail, it took its toll on me,
Just tired of it. Wasn't your thing.
I was promised a lot. I was. And I think that's what kind of hurts about it, is that I met so many great people that wanted to do great things for me, but it just wasn't the best thing for me. And
did you learn anything working in retail?
How to fake smile, how to customer service. No, I'm kidding, man. I did. I genuinely served every customer to the best of my ability. I learned that it's hard, and I learned that, I learned that it wasn't best for me, which is another great experience. At this point, I think I kind of came up with I don't know if somebody said it before, but a kind of a quote for my life where, I won't know what works for me until I find out what doesn't. So, you try the music, you try retail, and these things, you pick up on all the little details about them that I don't know if this fits my life. So I leave it. And I'm in Nashville at the time. And, but God, I love Nashville so much. That is such a badass city. I mean, you have Broadway, if you want to go downtown and overpay for drinks and have a great time with all your buddies. Or if you want to go for a hike, it's 10 minutes the other direction, or 20, 30 minutes maybe.
Sounds like my type of place. Shout out Young Buck too, man, because Young Buck, he represents Nashville, a.k.a. Cashville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir. So yeah, great town, much different weather from Florida too. It's
fucking right.
90 degrees during the holidays down here, and that kind of, it kills my spirit a little bit, honestly. And so, when it's snowing outside and it's, October, November, December.
We down here vibing. Shorts, t-shirts and shit.
Everybody's still on the beach,
Gotta love Florida, man.
I'm dumping salt on my driveway so my car doesn't slide overnight. But
so you get to Tennessee and you don't want to do retail no more.
Yeah, so
what's next?
I'm scrambling, man. This is where they say your 20s are very difficult times in your life, and I'm just digging deep in my bag of ideas to try and figure out who is it I want to be, what is it I'm going to do. And there's one thing I've got that I just haven't touched on yet. And I actually loved it before I loved music, and it was the automobile. So I have a collection of Hot Wheels. I mean, I'm a grown ass man, and I'm still in Walmart on the Hot Wheel aisle.
Wow.
Looking for the treasure hunts. Yeah.
Shit.
Whoever goes with me to Walmart knows that they got to spend about 15, 20 minutes. Maybe, all right, that's an exaggeration. Maybe 5-10 minutes. I'm pretty quick with it now, going searching through the cars. But yeah, so I love automotive. And, you know, I looked into a school up there to be an auto mechanic. And, you know, I said, I think I can take it a step further. And so I say, all right, we're going to try for mechanical engineering. That's what we're going to go for.
Good choice.
Thank you. Holy shit. What a shift in mentality. I mean, I'm going when
it's not the same as regular mechanics, right?
No. Yeah. So what I'm getting into is, you know, I'm sitting with a blueprint in front of me.
Oh, okay.
You know, you got
the creator.
Cylinders, pistons, you know, gears and forces going in all directions and all these sorts of things. And, you know, how can I generate more horsepower for the car or, you know, make it stable for the road, whatever the goal is. But a whole different, you know, shift in my mentality, because I go from like this using my mind as like a movie theater, like I mentioned before, to write music, you know, going into my own dreams and touching on emotions and feelings and words and ideas that were satisfying to my soul, to, all right, now I got to sit down and look at this damn piece of paper and I got to figure out what this triple integral is of e to the x
to
times
the, I don't
t
know, to the
squared plus, and I'm like, and it tells you the volume of this and that, you know. So, oh my God, man, it's it's exercised my mind tremendously. It's kind of worked my mind, and I've operated it in 2 or 3 different ways to kind of reach an end goal. So,
okay.
And with the engineering thing, the way I used to, you know, envision or feel a song internally, I hope that kind of the movie theater thing transitions over to the automotive world when I have a good enough grasp on, you know, an engine and all its components. Can I visualize everything in an engine and start to think, where can I make improvements? That's a theory.
You're still in school now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much more schooling do you have left?
I have, well, they say 2 years till I get my bachelor's,
okay.
and the degree is vehicle engineering. But you
can you still work now though, like kind of like internship or some shit, or you got enough knowledge to actually work and go to school?
Yes. So I'm coming up to the point where
you can get a job.
I'll take on some sort of internship in that field. Yeah, I'm coming up on that point. But gosh, what was I going to say? 2 years. You put a buffer on that. The classes I go through kick your ass. They do. They will make you question yourself and doubt yourself. You know, thermodynamics, the study of materials,
especially trigonometry.
Dude,
fuck you up.
And actually, I'm glad you said that, because it brought me to a point when I went back to school. My first semester 2 years ago, when I started my associates, was trigonometry, and I failed. I failed the class, and I took a hard look in the mirror and I said, all right, buddy, you got to grow academically.
You need this shit.
You get ready, because it's time to put in the mind. Yeah. You got to invest your mind and the time and the rehearsal through triangles and then later on in calculus, spheres and graphs and all sorts of stuff like that. But I failed. I did when I first came back to school. And but then I bounced back and I said, I'm going to retake the class.
Got back up.
And I said, I'm not going to give up. And I passed the class with an A the next semester. And that was an important moment for me. You know, I think it was a test. You know, okay, you say you want to do this, you think you want to do this, you're going to try for it. You know, will you get back up and take the same class again? And it was hard too.
You have to though, right? You got to take it.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, you know, because then you ask yourself, or I ask myself, you know, for what I want to do. What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to go back to the drawing board. And, but yeah, and it was tough because, you know, I'm 27 now, and I went back to school when I was 24. And, you know, it's hard because you'll look at your buddies and, you know, they've got bachelor's degrees. Some of them got masters, and probably a couple out there that have doctorates. And, you know, you're going back to school. I remember, shout out to my guy, Aussie, 17-year-old. He's at Vanderbilt now, smoking my ass in every math class I'm in. You know, we were on the same path, you know, gradually going through all the math classes. And, you know, I think this goes for anything, is it just takes time and effort. I don't think there's a person out there that can't do engineering. I don't think there's anybody out there that can't do engineering. But because I had to retake classes. There were times when I doubted and I questioned myself. But I'm here now. I'm in the middle of it, and I'm very optimistic about going forward. So
keep going, man. Sounds like you have a very interesting story, my brother. Sounds like you've been a lot. Is there anything else that you might be working on mentally?
Well, yeah. I mean, to this day, and you know, I'm very open about this. I know some people they're not comfortable sharing this type of stuff about themselves, but I'm very open. I go to therapy once a week, every Friday morning, and I feel like my mind's in a pretty good spot nowadays. Good enough, but I will never ever stop therapy. The more I go week in and week out, there is just something else that I learn about myself that I realized needed to be tweaked from my past experiences. I'll say this about my parents. Both parents are doing much better than they were before.
Congrats, man. It's dope to hear, man.
Thank you. Dope. Thank you very much. And I love them both dearly. But a positive of them kind of going through a crisis was I was able to develop myself with minimal influence.
Mm-hmm.
So it generated independent thinking. And that was very hard growing up. And hell, man, many tests, many trials sent my mind into a lot of dark places, deep places. And I'm just now picking that apart and analyzing a lot of that stuff. And so anybody out there, I encourage people to seek help for mental health. Like I said, even if I continue to work and life turns out well for me, if I'm fortunate enough to see that day, I just won't miss it, because there's still, I won't skip therapy, because there's just one more thing out there that I can learn that can help me be a greater person.
Yeah, mental health is definitely a major issue in America that has to be addressed, especially during these times.
Oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely. I do. I reflect on my story, and I put in a lot of work to understand myself mentally, and I think about my story, and I'm like, this, you know, my story is not special. There's people with much worse conditions than I have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people need help. A lot of people do. And that only further encourages my idea of growing in the direction of love and understanding.
Okay. Definitely a good direction. Dope ass direction.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, just, you know, just listen to J. Cole, listen to Kendrick Lamar, you know, hip hop artists out there, guys who have been through much worse stuff. I never grew up in Bed-Stuy. I never grew up in Compton. I didn't experience these things. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is I understand the habits and the mental tendencies, or I'm understanding more and more each and every day, that were created, and like anxiety that was generated, or bad habits, or, you know, seriously, why I might go grab a candy bar at the gas station or why I might, overeat as like a vice or something like that,
Right.
grub on something, or was because of tweaks that needed to occur with things internally that were developed through the difficult times.
Okay.
So that's what, you can never spend enough time with somebody and hear them out. You just can't. You would literally have to, every single person you meet, you got to walk in their shoes and live day in and day out to understand their emotions and stuff, man. It's
Okay.
and I know I'm talking about it a lot, but
No,
it's
you're good.
that shit is so important to me. It does, or it is. And
One quick question. Just before we wrap things up, so now you're doing your engineering. You've had a rap career. You've had your rap experiences, your football experiences. Your childhood was kind of crazy. Now that you got like a some sense of direction, where would you see yourself in a couple of years? 3, 4, 5 years from now? Where would you like to see yourself anyway?
well, I don't have the answer to that question. It's going to be something where I have to take it probably. Well, I'm going to earn my bachelor's. I have that goal. I would like to finish the degree.
Of course.
Seek out some job opportunities, see what comes my way. But I could very well stay for my master's. The thing that matters most to me is that I end up in the automotive world.
There we go.
That's the number one thing. And I mean, I don't fear student loans. That's a whole nother topic in conversation. I don't fear student loans, because if I can wake up every day and be passionate, I thought to myself, if I needed to work 60 hours a week, if somebody was going to have me work 60 hours a week, how can I still go home and be cheerful, be upbeat, get some good sleep, and get up the next morning and do the same exact thing? And the most important thing was to find who or what you love. What do you live for? So I think for a financial foundation, finish the engineering, get into that automotive world that I'm hoping for, and see where that goes. I work hard at networking. I got a lot of cool contacts. So I don't know whether they like me or not. They respond to me, but whether they would hire me one day, that's a different story. I hope something pans out.
Well, they're gonna hire you because you're gonna be one of the best damn engineers that they ever met. I bet.
Thanks, brother.
Keep pushing, man.
Thank you.
We're gonna get into the wrap up. I definitely want to thank you for kicking it with us today, giving us your point of view of your journey. Because, like I said in the beginning, everybody has a different story to tell. We're all different. We all have our own unique stories and ups and downs about us. So I also want to say good luck on your journey. Once again, thank you for vibing with us on the World Renowned podcast. My man Ra wants to get into the equality shirt. Before we go, real quick, what's the equality shirt? You what's that all about?
Yeah, so
That's you right there.
Yeah, it is. So it says equality, and in the background is the American flag, and underneath it says understanding, love, and freedom resides in me.
That's what's up.
And I made this shirt at Carlson's Custom Tees here in Satellite Beach.
Okay. Repeat it again.
Carlson's Custom Tees.
Custom Tees. Yep. Shout out them.
I made it here in Satellite Beach. There's a wonderful woman that works the front counter. She's very nice. I happen to know her on a personal level.
Happen to be Mommy Dukes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody need any printing, shirt prints or whatever you need, printed graphics, I think there you go.
Thank you. And yeah, the shirt it means everything to me because in my heart and in my mind, I hope one day that I see the day where there's a lot of comfort among different cultures. Every man and woman feels free.
For sure.
And people have more equal opportunities to seize their dreams and the things that would bring them joy in life.
Sure.
I would love to see that day.
For sure. Me too, man. There you have it. Love, unity. My man, Benny Guess, we're going to slide out of here with another one of his singles. Once again, thank you for tuning in to the world-renowned podcast. I am your host, alongside with my special guest host, Benny Guess. Give us the title of the song. Take us into the song, my man.
Yeah, all right. So the song that we'll play out is classic, and it was the beats made by a gentleman, Braze Beats.
Okay.
He's a producer over in Germany. It was mixed and mastered by my guy, Nick Bennick, and I wrote the song, and my buddy, the MC, Nick Richard, helped me out with the hook. So
let's do it. Hey, I liked it. I thought it was fire. I hope y'all think it's fire. Once again, thank you for showing up. Thank y'all for tuning in. World renowned. Flayo, holla at your boy. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be better. Calm down. You remember how to do it, right?
I think so. Go for it.
Okay. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with
Plastic.
Nah, man, like more seductive, make it like sexy.
Oh, true.
Paper
Yeah.
in my pocket, but I paid with
Plastic.
There you go. You ready? Here comes. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with plastic. Special order kicks, oh, I'm sicker than your average. The way I rock 'em, it makes you wanna have 'em. Cause they're classic, baby, I'm classic. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with plastic. Special order kicks, oh, I'm sicker than your average. The way I rock 'em, it makes you wanna have 'em. Cause they're classic, baby, I'm classic. And that's something that we don't see enough of. I takes a looks around, all I see's a bunch of suckers. The white G, Al Capone, typical motherfuckers. My triangular prism wisdom defeats all corruption. ISO for Ella, see why I got a part. Y'all sliding DMs like Jeter at a water park. I can see where all y'all concerns are. Life is hard earned, I be racing like Earnhardt to hit my finish line so that I'm satisfied. Dream catcher, baby, got the power inside. You can talk all you want, I know you're not on the ride. Y'all on fluoride, blind mind, no third eye. Can't handle the Montu, no, my life ain't impromptu. I write for more than something that all of y'all can rock to. The engine of a Hellcat, endurance of a Prius, connected with the light, changes what I leave us. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with plastic. Special order kicks, oh, I'm sicker than your average. The way I rock 'em, it makes you wanna have 'em. Cause they're classic, baby, I'm classic. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with plastic. Special order kicks, oh, I'm sicker than your average. The way I rock 'em, it makes you wanna have 'em. Cause they're classic, baby, I'm classic. What makes you special ain't the Jordans on your feet, but jumping higher than Jumpman. For goals you wanna reach, social status don't mean shit unless you let it. You're locked into the system, well, unless you get it. The era of the entrepreneur with corporations galore, feeding you ads just to brainwash you more. This life, there ain't a take two. Your money don't make you, your clothes don't make you. If it does, then you're fake too. The issue lies with things adding value to a person. We're responsible for what's worth it and what's worthless. Take it upon yourself. I wish ourselves well, for no wishing well can switch how we live in this hell. Don't be a customer crony, be a hustler, homie. Get the dirt off your shoulders. Can you do that for me? Making the art that is tenfold, verses like origami, but it's cause I'm original. Benny never copy. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with plastic. Special order kicks, oh, I'm sicker than your average. The way I rock 'em, it makes you wanna have 'em. Cause they're classic, baby, I'm classic. Paper in my pocket, but I paid with plastic. Special order kicks, oh, I'm sicker than your average. The way I rock 'em, it makes you wanna have 'em. Cause they're classic, baby, I'm classic. Oh, shit was dope, baby.
Hell yeah.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Classic.